Do you think it's actually started, Lizzie?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hi. Hi. Welcome to my conversation with JG. It's so random. You guys are going to think we're so weird. Okay, here she comes. Come, JG.
Hey, girl. Hey. Jagers.
We did it. We've never done this before. Hi.
Oh my God, we both have
Yes.
very artsy, craftsy.
Yeah, artisanal. We're
Yes.
artisanal at heart.
We really are. I'm wearing a handcrafted tie-dyed situation with a handmade.
I've got on a full-on vest, and it's actually cold outside. I'm like a mountain woman here in LA. Where are you? You're in
West Virginia, girl. Yeah, I'm in New Orleans.
Oh yeah. What part of town?
Lower Garden District, everyone.
Yep. How yeah, I shouldn't have probably asked you that publicly. How many movies have you made in New Orleans?
This is my 4th, but it's a mini series, but that counts.
You told me about this. It's really cool.
Yeah,
okay.
It's that one. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, good. All right.
Yeah. You have to start.
I'll start this off. Okay, so JG and I both love a glass of wine. Fair to say. And we have been thinking more and more about having
not having glasses of wine, even though we love them so much.
Yeah. And what it means, and if it's we drink differently. I have a little bit almost every night.
I am the other version where I can go 5 days, but then I hit it hard on the weekends.
Yeah, I don't like to be drunk.
I love to be drunk. But I'm really I used to be, and I hope no one comments on this, I think I used to be pretty good at it. I am no longer good at it.
So I've always felt it's not an issue because I never get drunk. But then I started thinking, but I'm having a little bit every night, and especially during the pandemic.
The pandemic was
right?
So awful. Yes.
Right? And so isn't it just something we should talk about, right?
Yes. And you and I talked about it a while back, and I'm glad to talk about it again with you. Because I've been thinking so much about it since our first conversation. And because when I go on these, I'll say, I'm going to call it a binge, a sobriety binge. The way that it gets me through it is to read or listen to audiobooks about quitting drinking and how people have done it and stories and stuff. And that keeps me focused. So I've been doing that this time and thinking about this one book I was listening to called, I'm going to get the name wrong, This Naked Mind or That Naked Mind or whatever.
Yeah.
At the end of the book, and everyone kind of has their own theories. And of course, all these books always kind of start and finish with hey, you might have a real problem and you might need to go to treatment and get help. And that's, I feel it's obvious, but it might not be obvious. But that being said, she said at the end of the book, one thing I love for people to do is to share their drinking story with me, which I'm totally not going to share my drinking story with her. But she was try to sit down with your journal and write out you remember your first drink to how drinking has evolved in your life. And for the last few days I've been doing that. I'm still a dork and do morning pages from The Artist's Way.
Oh my gosh.
I do them every morning. I'm such a dork. But that's been really interesting to write out. And I would suggest that to anyone who's curious, is to really truly curious about where drinking has lived in their life, and we all go through changes, and especially, a lot of you and friends who are pregnant, go 9 months without drinking and stuff. Well, maybe. And anyway, that's been interesting to do. Like writing down like, okay, from my first drink, I haven't gotten to now yet, but throughout my life, like how I used alcohol, what it meant to me, why I liked it, why I hated it, things I regretted, all that kind of stuff.
I feel like for sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
I'm so happy you did.
I feel like I really did not drink very much or very often at all. I didn't drink in high school. I drank once, threw up on the driveway, horrible. Was not a drinker in college at all. Like, and I went to a school where people partied, you know, and I just growing up bangs, but that's a separate issue.
Wait,
okay?
next week we're gonna talk about bangs.
So I didn't drink them. It was when I had kids and I felt like I wanted that reward at the end of the night. And it was just like that little sip that I would have at the end of the night. It felt like I'd earned it and I deserved it. Yeah. And it just, that's when I start. And then it feels like it's become like part of a code among moms, like your wine. Oh my gosh, you must be dying to have. But then as your kids get older, you start like, people start having it in the afternoon and they start, anyway, it's more just like, oh my gosh, if I have a half a glass every night, and if my half a glass is probably really a glass, that's 7 glasses a week. And say I have 2 on the weekend, then that's suddenly I'm like close to 10 glasses of wine a week. And that's raises your risk for cancer. It makes you, so it's just like, gosh, what is the right thing to do? What's the right amount? So how long was your sobriety binge this time?
Well, this time, the first time I did it, I did like dry January, and it was while we were all still in quarantine, and I just was drinking. My husband and I, Dean and I, were drinking so much. I mean, like everyone I knew just became an alcoholic. Like we were all losing our minds. There was so much going on, and you know, and it was just like, I don't know how people were coping without it. God bless them. Anyway, so we decided to do dry January just to like dry out. And that was so great. I was sleeping. I felt happy again all the time. I didn't feel out of control. I felt really grounded. I shouldn't say like I felt happy all the time. That's not possible for me, but I felt like I could cope with everything that was coming up easily. Or I also was able to be like, I need to just sit on this for a second. Like I wasn't like, ugh. And so I was like, ooh, I think I want to keep going. And then Dean Johnson was like, have at it, kid. Like I am not.
I love that journey for you.
He was like, great. Does that mean I was like, no, you do you. So then I kept going. And then it was like, one thing led to another. I was like, you know what? I'm going to try doing 100 days. And then my 100 days was up like halfway through a job. So then I was like, ooh, I'll wait until my job is over. And then we had plans to go wine tasting in Napa that we'd made forever before for Memorial Day weekend. So I was like, okay, that's when I'll go back. And it was like basically starting Memorial Day, from Memorial Day to Labor Day, I was just like back to regular drinking, like taking 120 days off. Like I felt like it had no effect on me at all. Like I definitely, my tolerance went down. So I guess I was a cheaper date, but like I didn't really like totally take in like all the great, I did take in the changes. I guess I can't really say that. It's just that it felt like I didn't do it at all. So then this time I decided, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Cause I'm about to ask you what you're about to say.
Oh, well then, so this time I started the day after Labor Day. Cause I had I went to a really fun, very very fun, COVID safe outdoor Labor Day party. And I definitely woke up the day after Labor Day and was like, oh, I'm going to stop again. And this time it's been like different because I feel like I'm paying much closer attention. However, I did, when Dean was here, I keep saying my husband, he came here with me when I first came to New Orleans to like get me set up and everything. And we went out to dinner and I had some drinks with him at dinner. And I was like, I think I really want to have it was the night Halloween Kills premiered. It was a Friday night. And I was like, I want to have some yummy wine. We went to a nice dinner here and I wanted to celebrate. And so I did it, but I was like, oh, does this mean that I've lost my but I don't think so. And I feel like I'm back at it, and that felt like a special occasion, and it was managed, and I was like conscious of what I was doing and made a choice to do it. And but I don't know, I just think that right now in my life everything is so much better when I'm not drinking.
I love
I
it
should
so
be
much.
like this. Wait, I should be like
It's
this.
making me want a
Everything
glass
is
of wine.
so much better when I'm not drinking. That's how I should say it. Everything's so much better. But I'm like, oh man, I wish I didn't like being sober so much. I wish I didn't like how I looked. I wish I didn't like that I lost a couple pounds. I wish I didn't like how much extra energy I have. But this
That
is
being
good
said,
too.
I have no judgment, and I'm all, I'm all for, because you kind of are where you are in your journey. And the interesting thing is that you and I are kind of at a similar place, coming at it from a different angle, but kind of at a similar place. And so it's more like, gosh, okay, so I didn't have anything to drink for a couple of months, for 70 days or whatever. It was 10 weeks.
That's bananas. That's awesome, by the way.
And
congratulations.
thank you. And then kind of like you, I really wanted to choose the night and not just kind of say, oh, you know what, I'll just have some because I want to. Because every night there's a moment where I think I would like to have a glass of wine. These people are exhausting, and I would like wine. So it took a couple of months off. And during that time, I went to a party. I traveled to New York, which is like one of my favorite places to enjoy away from kids. I did like all the things that you're kind of like, feels weird to do, whatever. And then I decided to have a glass of wine on Saturday. And now I'm trying to figure out, what's it look like? Because when you gave me the great suggestion to support what I was doing by listening to Soberish and by listening to that other book,
Sober Curious.
Sober Curious. And the
That's
other one about like quit like a woman.
Yeah.
And so I did, but their experiences of drinking are so not like mine that it's hard. You kind of have to like I don't really wake up foggy. I don't really have like all of that, but I do feel better, and I'm amazed how much better I've been feeling about myself. But what I want to know from you now, JG, is what do I do now? Do I let myself have alcohol only on special occasions, once a week? Like what's the cadence? What's it look like?
I mean, I would think like with anything that you feel like you're relying on to, I remember a long time ago, a therapist I had when I was wanting to quit smoking, he said like, every time you experience an emotion, like, so you don't feel it, you grab a cigarette. Like that's how, like you feel something, you grab a cigarette. So like I was trying to sort of stifle something by grabbing a cigarette. So maybe like what you're saying is like this hard part for you, and you and I talked about this before, is like transitions. And by the way, like I'm not a therapist, I only listen to a bunch of books, but like those transitions are so hard. The transition from your day to like your night, like from being Jennifer Garner to being mom, and like having to like ease yourself into that, and like looking at this little reward, like what else, like why do you need help with that transition, and then like is there something you could substitute, or is it fine for you to have a half a glass of wine at night? Like maybe it is, but you make a good point when you say like that does add up. And they say that like women are only supposed to have 3 drinks a week. Like, are they out of their fucking minds? Like, that's like,
I know.
It's
really important. It's like,
Live? I mean, like, that's nothing.
Yeah, that goes really quickly, quickly. So is that?
I don't know. I wouldn't know. I can't tell you what you should do, but like I also think like if you've gone this long without that, like that nightly glass of wine, like maybe you try like having those special occasion glasses of wine, like maybe mix that back in and see what happens. Like I felt like when you talk, I'm so sick of hearing myself talk.
I think it is that. I think it is like this is a night that feels special or important. You know
Mm-hmm.
what's interesting is people's reaction to it.
Oh, yes. Yeah. I feel like being out of town for work, being on location with people I don't know, making new friends, it's
Hmm.
so easy for me. Like it's like nothing. Like nobody knows me, so no one cares if I'm like, oh, can I have a Shirley Temple, or like, do they have a near beer on the menu?
Hmm.
And no one really knows me the other way, so it doesn't really matter. But it's hard at home with my friends and like going out to dinner and
Well, you and I went out to dinner and I said, I'm not I'm not drinking, I'm going to have a mocktail, and you said me too, and we were both so
I
relieved
know.
because that's the first thing we would enjoy together
I
normally.
know, I
We
know.
really did have a fancy night out at dinner together, just the two of us. That was so nice.
With our mocktails.
I know.
I had a similar experience on Friday night here. Like this actor Jesse Egan that I'm working with, he texted me, was like, "Do you want to have dinner on Friday night?" And I was like, "Yes," but I just want to tell you I'm not drinking right now. So if you'd rather go out with someone who's going to be a little bit more fun in New Orleans, like it won't hurt my feelings at all. He's like, "Oh my God, don't worry, I'm not drinking either." And I was like, "Yay!" Like I got so excited, and we could dork out. And like after dinner we went and got weird rooibos lattes from Mojo Coffee down the street, which was really good and like felt like a treat. But I felt like I had to tell him that. Don't you feel like you have to tell people that, especially
I
if they know
do.
you as a drinker?
Yes. And also because I just want to like give a heads up so they don't accidentally pressure,
Yes.
you know, because I feel like it'd be pretty easy to talk me into it. I love it. I don't really have a problem. I'm all for it.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
I also like really want to stand by what I've decided to do for myself. I don't know.
And
Jadris, what do you
why?
have instead? Like, do you have a Shirley Temple? Like, do you like to have a special drink if
Yeah,
you're
yeah, yeah, I do. I usually start by asking the bartender if they make any, like, do you have like a non-alcoholic? I never say mocktail for some reason, but I'm always like, do you have like a little non-alcoholic thing you could make that's fun or yummy or something? And I would say most of the time, if you're at like a nicer place, they'll be like, "Oh yeah, totally, I'll make you something great. Do you like something sweet or something sour or whatever?" Anyway, that's good. Or I'll have like a non-alcoholic beer if they have like a decent one that's not gross. And then like here we were out at some random bar in the French Quarter, and I did order a Shirley Temple because it was a lot there, and I was like, I think that's where I should stick tonight, like to the Shirley Temple. I didn't feel like she had the bandwidth to try to concoct something
I
special for
understand.
me. She
I
was,
feel like I do need like a special something though.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
like I do need like for me what I always have that people always think is like a jug of wine. I have sparkly water with a little blueberry in it,
yeah, yeah,
and I'll have that. Or if I'm out, I like that it gives me some more sugar to play with that I can put into
yeah,
something else.
yeah. Or I'll sometimes have like a caffeinated drink, like iced coffee or Coke or 7 Up,
Mm,
or not 7 Up. That's not caffeine. You know what I mean? Like I have something that's like gonna like kind of, especially if you're in for a long night. I hate when people
right.
are like, "Oh, of course you're going to bed early because you're sober and you're boring." And I've had friends tell me that, and I'm like, "Bitch, I would be passed out right now if I was drinking. Like, you should be happy I am sober. I would already have French exited to my bedroom. Like, please, like, come on." But truth be told, I usually am totally exhausted and I'm like forcing myself to stay awake because I was like, I must prove that I'm still fun even though I'm not drinking alcohol. But yes, I'm often exhausted.
Do you rely on tea?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. There's this company called Clever Blends, and my friend Lola turned me onto them, and they make like, I have a golden, yes, please. They're missing, clever is spelled missing one important letter, but I don't remember what. Maybe it's like CLEVR or something. Anyway,
I bet it is.
they have things in it that are good for your body, and you can like get one of those little tiny hand mixer things.
Mm.
And I don't know, it's kind of also like the ritual, like picking which bottle of wine. I remember, oh my God, I remember when, not to make you want wine, but like we were shooting 13 going on 30. We were in the office or something in downtown LA, and I was like, what are you going to do tonight after work? And you were like, it was probably like a Thursday. And you were like, I'm going to choose the bottle of wine I'm going to drink this weekend. And I was like, she already has bottles of wine at her house. Like, I was so at a point in my life where it was like, if I wanted to drink, I was like, well, I guess I have to go to the liquor store and I have wine. Now I have a lot of wine that sits there undrank.
You know what I did way back when we were doing 13 going on 30? I was such a peanut, but I loved that California had Napa and Sonoma. I just thought, like, I still feel this way living in California. Like, I feel like the ultimate tourist. I can never see enough. You know, there's just so much here. So I signed up for the California Wine Club, which I could not afford, which I got a wine every month, and I wanted to learn about them and then go up and go to the places and explore. Yeah. Well, Jagers, the first wine they sent me, I thought, this is good. And I called and said, I'd like to buy a case of this. I really liked it. So it came, a case of this wine. I'd never bought a case of wine in my life. Like, truly, I'd never bought a case of wine. So it came, and then my credit card statement came. I had bought Quintessa, which was $80 a bottle. And I had just been giving it out. Like, you've got to try this. You've got to try this. I had no idea. I don't know why I thought it would be like $25 a bottle, which was a fancy bottle of wine for me.
I mean, that's still...
It's a very fancy bottle of wine. I was, how old were we? 20? We were...
Shit. I mean, yeah, I wasn't 30 yet. No, I mean, there's no way. I was 28.
Yeah, I think I was 30 when we made the movie, which... I
mean, I don't want to talk about that anymore. I really don't want to talk about how long ago that was. Except for, I know that feeling because I've done it wine tasting, mostly because I've been tasting too much wine, and I'm like, we'll take a la.
Yes.
And always, like, Dean Johnson and I get home from our wine tasting trip, and we're like, oh, shit. And we will fully, like, we have a secret, this just makes me sound so cheap and shitty, but we have a secret labeling system so we don't forget, like, which bottles are ones that we save for special occasions.
Yes.
And which we might, like, well, I guess we don't really do it anymore, but, like, open up on a Tuesday night.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's funny.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'll have a case.
Yeah, I'd like a case of this, please.
Have it delivered to my trailer.
Yeah. All right. Well, are there any questions out there? Does anyone want to say anything before we go? Oh my gosh, Dusty loves you so much, JG. They think you're amazing.
Oh.
Yes, Judy was in the wedding planner.
Yes, she was.
Yes, she was.
I feel like I'm just getting a lot of waves, which I like. Wait, are we seeing the same people?
I don't know. What brand of tea am I drinking? Oh, traditional medicines, mint. I always drink mint, really. And here's the advice. One thorn of experience is worth a whole wilderness of warning.
Oh, like deeper. Doing it, it's like that, like if you did it badly, you'll learn more than just people telling you don't do that.
Okay.
Right?
I think you're right, but I wouldn't have gotten it if you didn't just explain it to me.
I've been like reading a lot of weird quotes lately. I feel like I speak in like yogi tea talk now. But I feel like the traditional medicinals just started having inspirational quotes on them.
It's kind of the in vogue thing to do if you're a tea.
I'm not mad at it.
I'm not mad. It's fine with me. I think we should let the people go, Jagers. What do you think?
Yeah, we should. I hope I didn't sound like I'm some kind of expert because I am not. I'm only an expert on my own life.
Yeah, I don't think you sounded like anything but exactly that.
Good.
Yeah. I mean, we're not telling people what to do. We're just...
No. And if you see me out having a drink, don't judge me.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I'm already excited about the next beautiful.
I'm just saying that my husband's coming to town this weekend and I'm not ruling out having a glass of wine with him, but we will see.
But that's the thing, is that you want to be able to enjoy it and not feel...
Kind of like how I don't order cake all the time, but like I'm excited to like go to a birthday party and have a piece of cake.
Yeah. Yes. it's just, I'm just figuring it out.
I know.
What I'm going to have a new relationship with it.
Yeah.
Post pandemic. And
Yeah.
I'm figuring it out, and I'm using you as I often do because you're a guru kind of gal.
I will trailblaze.
You're a trailblazer. Okay, well, everyone,
Okay,
thank you for listening to us.
JG
Yeah.
and JJ.
JJ.
I feel like we need a cheer for next time. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I don't know
love
how
you,
to.
JJ.
I love you too. I'll
Okay.
see you.
Okay,
sometime.
bye.